Unit 1 focuses on developing learning activities. Usually, when we are in the classroom, the timetable tells teachers and learners where they need to be at particular times and in which particular places. And then once they're in the classroom, the teacher tells learners what they need to be doing. Some of our main resources are usually our learners, the teacher, some form of chalkboard or whiteboard, and our core textbook. So the challenge then arises, if we're not in the classroom, how do we get all of those elements to work at a distance online? After this short presentation, we will ask you to go through the slideshow presentation again and to work through the activities at your own pace. The activities are designed to help you reflect upon your current understandings, to use your experience to understand what the challenges might be, and then what the solutions might be for learning online. Activity 1A is really asking you to put yourself in the place of the learner who suddenly finds themselves needing to work online. Each activity is followed by a short discussion. Often, there are active links that will take you to further guidance. So you can see, for example, at the end of this slide, there is a link to an example. When we are in the classroom, learners depend upon us as teachers to tell them this is what you should do now. For example, open your textbooks now, go to chapter 4, work on activity 3, now get into groups and discuss this issue. When they are working from home, we need to provide an equivalent kind of guidance. We will need to work collaboratively with other teachers to develop a study schedule. But remember that we're not tied to say from 8:30 to 9:30 must be math, from 9:30 to 10:30 must be science. You rather need to think about the fact that learners, when working from home, can work at any time, and they can work on any day of the week. So rather, fill the schedule in a way that helps learners decide what they must complete by the end of the week. When you work through this slideshow independently, if you click on the hyperlinks in yellow, you find some further guidelines on this issue. These additional guidelines will feed into an activity. This activity is built around short videos, where we are inviting you to think about what it might be like to be a teacher or a learner who is used to being in a class in a particular context, and then discovering the need to adapt to a new context. The way we structured this activity is the way that we would like you to structure your own activities during this course. After completing each activity, we will ask you to share what you have learned in the discussion forum. So you would say, from activity 1A, I learned that, and from activity 1B, I learned about, and then your peers and your mentors can provide further inputs and advice. As before, for every activity there is some discussion. We have tried to build on previous learning or experience, so when we ask you to do something, we will start with an introductory phase where we try to make a link to what has already been learned. Then we will proceed to a developmental phase in which we'll ask you to work with a new idea, followed by a consolidation phase where we ask you to bring together what you've learned before and what you think that you have learned that is new, and then what ideas you would like to share with your peers and mentors. In the final activity for this particular unit, we will ask you to use what you've learned to help students work with their prescribed textbooks and other resources like supplied workbooks. There are 3 links in this activity which will take you to guidelines for using printed media and printed textbooks. The key thing that we want you to take away from the activity is that for a student to work independently with a prescribed textbook, you need to get them thinking about the issue before they start to read. You need to guide them towards what they should be doing while using the prescribed resources. And then you need to get them to reflect on what they have learned after they have worked through the chapter of the prescribed textbook or after they've watched a video. In online teaching, a key issue is to design for activity-based learning. We need to provide guidelines for learners to be able to work independently. Textbooks are very good with content, but they don't always include meaningful activities to support learning. At the end of this unit, we provide a hyperlink to printed materials that demonstrate an activity-based approach, which is required for distance and online learning. We hope you find this unit interesting and the guidelines and additional links useful. After watching this video, you should go to the resources section to download the slideshow and work through it in your own time. Thank you very much and good luck with Unit 1. After watching this video, you should go to the resources section to download the slideshow and work through it in your own time. You can continue to use and adapt the resource after the course ends, but please share your adaptation with others.